Shalom, shalom, Israel, shalom to the Torah tribes, Yasha giving the chorus all honor and glory and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, in the name of the begotten Son, Yahweh Shah. It's your brother Yasha Allah coming back with yet another video. The spirit of power, of course, of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. Alright, so I'd like to get straight into this. And basically, this is going into what? Our eyes being wicked. Because in this flesh, our eyes is one of the main things that brings us to lust into sin, right? It's our eyes, right? Because a blind man or a blind woman, how is she going to lust, right? How is he or she going to lust, right? Because if they can't see, then it's really hard for them to lust, right? If you think about it. So the lust, it comes through our eyes, man, right? But we know that everything is on a spiritual level when it comes to these scriptures, right? First, because let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 18, verse 18. Because in the spiritual realm, the Lord has angels that cause us to go off, right? And causes us to do good works as well, right? Because let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 18, verse 18. It says, again he said, therefore hear the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting upon his throne, and all the hosts of heaven standing on his right hand and on his left. So the hosts of heaven is talking about the angels, right? Now the word host means, in this context, it means army, right? Army. Now the angels in heaven, they are the army of the Lord, right? Verse 18, and the Lord said, who shall entice Ahab, king of Israel? Right, who's going to entice Ahab? To entice means to deceive, right? Be cunning, right? It says that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead, and one spake, saying after this manner, and another saying after that manner. So the Lord basically had a meeting, a so-called meeting in the spiritual realm, right? And saying unto his right, the angels are on his right-hand side. The angels on his right-hand side is going into the righteous angels. You know, for example, Yahweh Shah, the top right-hand angel, or spirit, right? Because he is a king. Michael, Uriel, Rapa'ala, right? These some of the archangels on the right-hand side. And on the left-hand side, you have Satan and his minions, right? But they're still under the control of Yahweh. Verse 20. Then came out a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will entice him. And the Lord said, wherewith? So the spirit said, hey, I'm going to entice him, Lord, right? Verse 21, and he said, I will go out and be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And the Lord said, thou shalt entice him, and thou shalt also prevail. Go out and do even so. So the Lord said that what? The Lord said, okay, fine. Yeah, you can entice him, right? Go forth and do so. So the Lord gave that spirit permission to entice Ahab and entice the prophets, man, right? To speak falsely, all right? So the Lord, of course, when we lust, that's all from Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah first and foremost, because he sent down that spirit to try us, right? To test us, right? To entice us, you know? But through our eyes, that's when real lust comes, you know? That's where lust comes, and that's where evil comes as well. Because let's go to an account. First, actually, let's go to James. This book of James, chapter 1, and verse 12. 12. Blessed is a man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him. That's a powerful precept right there, right? Verse 13. Let no man say that when he is tempted, I am tempted of the Most High, for the Most High cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempted he any man. Verse 14. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Then when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin, and sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. Do not err, my beloved brethren. So James the apostle is saying that what? Every man is tempted, right? And when he is drawn away after his own lust and enticed, then when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin. So basically, right? But first of all, how do you get to that lusting? first you have to look. First you have to gaze upon a maid, you know, if you're a man, right? In order for you to lust, you have to be looking upon something or thinking about it. Now, you could just think a thought, you know what I'm saying? But let's say like a blind man or a blind woman, how are they really going to lust if they haven't seen anything in their life? You know what I'm saying? So they have other sins to deal with, but lust is not, really one of them, because they haven't seen anything in their life. They're blind from birth. Because our eyes, that's what bring forth that lust. That's when it starts. It goes through our eyes, then we think about it. And then when we think about it, then we're starting to lust, right? And then we do that action, right? And when we do that action, then that brings forth sin. And we know that sin, when it's finished, brings forth death, right? So James is saying that, right? And he's showing us that through the Spirit, I'm going to get some precepts on that too, if it's still unclear. Because let's go to Genesis chapter 3. This is the book of Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, have God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree in the garden? Now the serpent is not a real snake, all right? That's fake. This is a man, all right? This is a man of the Proto-Canaanite nation, right? Meaning before Canaanites. And basically, this serpent is an actual man. Didn't the Lord, because let's go to the book of Matthew, right? The Lord called this generation a generation of vipers. And what is a viper? A viper is a snake, all right? This is the book of Matthew chapter 10. Yeah, let me get 10. Verse 16, Matthew 10 and 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents. So be ye therefore wise as serpents. The Lord said, be wise as a serpent. Meaning that what? We have to be wise as a serpent. We have to be subtle, and we have to be wise like a serpent, right? And harmless as doves. So the Lord likened us unto snakes, all right? The Lord likened us unto snakes. Also, Yahushua was also likened unto a snake too in the book of Isaiah, all right? Let me see if I can get any more precepts on that, right? Like I said, like I mentioned, generation of vipers, how the Lord said that we're a generation of vipers, all right? Let me see. Let me see if I can find that. It's the book of Matthew. Right. Where is that? Well, yeah. Alright, I don't have to get too deep into that. But alright, so that serpent is a real man. Alright, he just had he was cunning. Alright, he was cunning. He had wisdom on the left-hand side to deceive. That's why it calls him a serpent. Alright, and even in the world, when you call somebody a snake, are you really calling them a reptile snake that doesn't have any legs and that doesn't have arms and has fanged teeth, right? Are you really calling of that person a snake, like a real snake? No, you're just calling him a snake because of his characteristics. Maybe he's sly, maybe he's cunning, maybe he's a deceiver, maybe he's just an evil person, and you would call him a snake, man. So for the scriptures, it's the same thing. All right, verse 2, Genesis chapter 3, verse 2. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, meaning we can eat of the doctrines and philosophies of the trees of the garden. Verse 3, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die, for God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And the woman saw that the tree was good for food, right? That the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes. So hold on. Verse 6, it says, and when the woman saw, how she see? By her eyes, right? She saw that the tree was good for food and that it was pleasant to the eyes. It was pleasant to the eyes, right? See, she's getting enticed right now. She's getting drawn away in her lust. And a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and she did eat. All right. So, our eyes are wicked because Eve, that's how she got drawn away into her lust. She was looking, right? She was lusting through her eyes. She saw that it was good, She saw that it was pleasant to the eyes, right? And that's another thing, man. Right? Let's go to the book of 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. It says, love not the world, not the things that are in the world. For if any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. So we're commanded to not love the world, right? Let's see what's in the world. Verse 16, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever. All right? So it says that what? That the lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes. So our eyes are wicked, man. We need to tame our eyes, right? And our eyes are wicked, all right? Because the lust of the eyes, that's one of the things in the world, as well as the pride of life, as well as the lust of the flesh, all right? And these go hand in hand with one another, all right? What else is there, right? Right, the lust of the eyes. Oh, hold on. Because through your eyes, that's when you bring forth that sin, bring forth that lust, right? That's like I keep saying, if you're blind, how you really gonna gaze upon a maid? All right, let's go to the book of Job, chapter 31. It's the book of Job, chapter 31, verse 1. I made a covenant with mine eyes. So that's what we have to do, because our eyes are wicked. So we need to make a covenant with our eyes. Why then shall I think upon a maid? Okay? Why then shall I think upon a maid? Because Job knew that when you look, right, and you gaze upon a maid, then that thinking starts to happen, right? We know that, thoughts can just pop out of nowhere. But it's really when you're looking, and then more thoughts pop in, all right? That's why the Lord said, it's the book of Sirach. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 9, and verse 4. Use not much the company of a woman that is a singer, lest thou be taken with her attempts. Gaze not on a maid, that thou fall not by those things that are precious in her. See that? So the Lord said, gaze not on the maid, all right? Gaze not on a maid, because if we gaze upon a maid too long and that lust starts to happen, we're already going off. And when we perform that, that's sin, and we know that sin bringing forth death. All right. Verse 8: turn away thine eye from a beautiful woman, and look not upon another's beauty. Right? For many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman, for herewith love is kindled as a fire. See that? So that goes into looking upon a beautiful woman, and that's going to bring forth sin. That's going to make us go off. All right. When it brings forth lust, right? I'm not saying like you can't look at any woman. Then how else are we going to get wise or whatever? But the thing is, when we bring forth that lust, right? That's when we're going off, all right? And that's through what? Our eyes, all right? That's the main topic of this lesson. Our eyes bring forth lust, and our eyes bring forth sin, all right? Because our eyes are wicked. Let's go to the book of 1 Samuel. Chapter 18. 1 Samuel 18 and 7. And the woman answered one another as he played, and said, Saul hath slain his thousands, and David his 10,000. Verse 8. And Saul was very wroth, and the saying displeased him. And he said, they have ascribed unto David 10,000s, and to me they have ascribed but thousands. What can he have more but the kingdom? So Saul was envious of David, right? He was envious of David. And he said what? Verse 9, and Saul eyed David from that day and forward. So Saul eyed David. You see that? He eyed him. And so, I'm telling you, man, our eyes are wicked as hell. All right, so we need to make a covenant with our eyes, like Job said. All right, we need to make a covenant with our eyes because that's the main thing that's causing us to go off. All right, that's the main thing that's causing us to go off. That's why the Lord said to mortify your members, and we have to pray unto the Lord for strength to mortify our members too. In Colossians chapter 3 and verse. I'm gonna start at 1. If ye then be risen with Mahashiach, seek those things which are above, where Christ sitteth on the right hand of the Most High. Set your affection on things above, not on the things on the earth. For ye are dead, and your life is hid with Mahashiach in the Most High. When Mahashiach, who is our life, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with him in glory. Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry, for which things' sake the wrath of God cometh on the children of disobedience. So, Paul is saying, mortify your members that which are upon the earth: fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, covetousness, which is idolatry. And all these things come from what? Your eyes, man. Right? Your eyes. And also, that's another thing too. Our forefathers, they kept worshiping idols, right? They kept worshiping idols. And when you go to the letter of Jeremiah, the letter of Jeremiah, in the book of Exodus, when Israel was worshiping a golden calf, the Lord, that's one thing, because we wanted the idol so we can touch it and feel it and look at it, right? We want to look at it. And our forefathers were displeased with Yahweh because they couldn't see the Most High, right? And that's off as well. That's wicked as well, right? And so all of these things, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, these things, they come from our eyes too, right? It starts with our eyes and with our mind, right? So, I gotta close out. Of course, giving all honor and glory and praise unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Abashal. Lord willing, this was edifying. Lord willing, you got some edification from this. Kwam Yasha'Allah. Shalom.